All right, so this video has been popping up a lot recently. About basically how Mihoyo is shitting their pants. Hoyoverse Mihoyo is shitting their pants with Wuthering Waves, which I'm gonna keep it real. I don't think they really should. That's not even me trying to shit on Wuthering Waves. I actually think Wuthering Waves will be an objectively way better game than Genshin. I think a lot of people are gonna enjoy not Hoyo, Wuthering Waves way more than Genshin. And there's a lot of reasons for that. But the thing is, we have to understand how much of a fucking giant Hoyoverse is when it comes to the industry and gacha games right now, right? Now, with what this video is preluding with the contracts and how they're afraid of Wuthering Waves, I don't really like Wuthering Waves will never be bigger than Genshin. I'll make a video on that on my take on that. But I genuinely believe Wuthering Waves will never be bigger than Genshin purely because just of how powerful Hoyoverse is. Like we have to understand something. Hoyoverse is like the Bugatti is like Bugatti for gotcha games. And it's not because their games are good, it's because of how big their fucking name is, right? It's how big the Hoyoverse name is, right? So I don't like I truly don't feel like Wuthering Waves or not Wuthering Waves Hoyoverse. I don't know why I have such a massive brain fart right there. Hoyoverse has nothing really to fear when it comes to Wuthering Waves. I like Wuthering Waves is direct competition, but I don't think it's big enough competition to actually make a dent in Hoyoverse. Because you have to understand something. In one of the most dead patches in the game has ever seen, like 4.6 was like it was a dead patch. It definitely wasn't as bad as 4.5, but it was a horrid patch. And because of Arlecchino by herself, they made over $110 million in April because of Arlecchino. Like it's However, I generally feel like no, the Hoyoverse has nothing to fear when it comes to like Wuthering Waves. But hey, let's find out. Let's find out.
Greetings, Rovers.
I was holy
Taking a break
shit.
from our regularly
This is my first time watching this dude. I was not expecting that kind of. I was not expecting his voice to be that deep. God damn.
scheduled programming of posting a video a day in May for Wuthering Waves release, today I received a screenshot on my Twitter from an unknown account. If this is true and undoctored information, this drama absolutely surpasses nuclear. We're talking full-blown giga-thermo-catastrophic nuclear drama.
Yeah, nuclear.
I'm
That
actually
big
kind of
nuclear.
nervous writing the script and turning it into a video because I have a feeling we are about to open up an entire can of worms and this is going to lead us down a rabbit hole and I'm going to end up blacklisted.
Now I'm gonna keep it real. Well, first off, what he just said, I shit on Genshin and all that so much. If I do end up becoming a bigger creator in the gacha space, I don't think I would really care if I got blacklisted. Mainly because I don't really want to play Hoyoverse games anyways. Like I've already committed myself to like no, probably I already committed myself to like not making that much Genshin content anyways because there's not that much shit to do in Genshin period. But like if I did get a blacklisted from Hoyoverse, it would suck. I don't think I would care that much. Maybe because I don't like I never planned on only playing Hoyoverse games to begin with, right? As there are still a lot of games I want to play, and a lot of them aren't Hoyoverse. So yeah, but then once again, like back to the like whole this nuclear drama. I think obviously this will not look good on them if this is actually true, which I've barely have seen it kind of is. If this is actually true, this is more of like a PR nightmare, right? This is more of a PR nightmare. Which let's keep it real. The Hoyoverse community has proven that Hoyoverse can do no wrong. Like let's just keep it real. Let's just keep it fucking real. Even if the contracts, like in the contracts, they stipulate that the person that this contract is for, if it stipulates that they have to submit, they get zero commission or percentage of any profit that they make from the game. Like they make zero money, they take all the money, and then not only that, you have to sell your channel and give it to Hoyoverse. And if you leave the channel, it is with Hoyoverse. Like Hoyoverse now owns your soul. Even if that was what the contract stipulated, I'm pretty sure a lot of people still wouldn't care. A lot of people still wouldn't care. A lot of people still would not give a shit because at the end of the day, it doesn't affect them. It may affect the content creators they like, but it doesn't affect their Hoyoverse game. It doesn't affect their Genshin. It doesn't affect their Honkai Star Rail. It really doesn't. So while this may be like a PR nightmare, at the end of the day, Hoyoverse is not going to affect them in the long run. It really won't.
So before I drop off the algorithm and I'm absolutely blacklisted from every company, I'd really appreciate it if you guys dropped me a like and followed me on my Twitch, as I'll be doing a 24-hour stream on May 22nd for the Wuthering Waves release. Today at around midnight, I received a Twitter notification from an account called Leaker Lamau 29000, who shared this image on my Twitter thread discussing the recent Robin drama.
Can we just appreciate that Twitter handle, Leaker Lamau? Like, I'm very surprised this guy took this seriously. If I ever got a DM from some dude who came Leaker Lamau, I probably would not take that seriously. I would at least get second opinions first before I make a video on it. So I feel like this dude either got really lucky or he knew what he was doing.
It looks to be a snippet of a contract from a company called Yomi. Doing some research into this company, it seems like they are a third-party advertising agency working with over 400 plus companies. They offer collaboration marketing, offline advertising, and influencer marketing. While I can't say for sure if this is legitimate or not, let's give them the benefit of the doubt and assume that this is a legitimate snippet of the contract that was offered to them.
Okay.
The contract states, the creator shall promptly notify Yomi if any other gaming brand intends to sponsor their content. Yomi has full discretion to reject sponsorships that could be detrimental to Zenless Zone Zero or the content creator's reputation.
Now that is something I'd expect from Hoyoverse. It is bad. Don't get me wrong, it's bad. But if that stipulation right there is something that is something I would expect of Hoyoverse, just based on how they've done things in the past. Now, I'll just make it clear. If any contract stipulates that you cannot work with anyone other than the people you're signing with, that's a contract that you need to really, really look into, because that is them basically saying that they own you and you cannot spiral outwards. You can't branch outwards. And that is a contract that benefits no one but the company themselves. That benefits nobody but the company themselves. And if you sign a contract that is not beneficial to you as well, that is the worst kind of contract you can sign. And you should never sign a contract where it is no benefit to you, or it is a more benefit to the company. It should always be like sort of like a 50-50 or such situation, right?
The extract cooperation content will be as follows. The content creator commits to engaging in minor promotional activities such as retweeting Zenless Zone Zero's posts, sharing in-game screenshots, and so on, for each Zenless Zone Zero update and important festival. Occasionally, the content creator may be requested to participate in major influencer campaigns by creating theme-specific videos, collaborating on creative projects, attending online events, etc. Now, here's a very interesting part. Hoyoverse may use the content creator's videos for marketing purposes.
That's
I believe
odd.
This is the first smoking gun in this discussion, as Hoyoverse is directly named in this contract.
Yeah.
Being named in the contract means they are somehow directly involved in either writing or approving this contract. The following documents shall be deemed to form and be read and construed as part of this agreement. For the purposes of interpretation, the priority of the documents shall be in accordance with the following sequence. The Zenless Zone Zero Content Creator Cooperation Agreement and its amendments, if any, the appendix, and any other documents forming part of the agreement. Now, those of you with keen eyes can tell already that there are some minor spelling mistakes and grammatical errors within this.
That's also one of the big reasons I didn't point it out. Because if you look, let's go back. I saw a few. Where were they? I wasn't paying attention at the. I kind of lost track at the end. There was like one or two. Where were they? I'm having a massive brain fart. Did I fucking lose them? Anyways, I'm stalling. I had a massive brain fart. I guess I couldn't find them, but yeah.
Appendix.
But that's also I saw one or two. Maybe there was more. Maybe there was less. Maybe I'm going crazy. But I saw one or two. That's also like a very big thing that was like, okay, this has to be fake. Cause like, what the fuck? How do you put spelling errors in an official contract that is supposed to be legally binding? What the hell? But anyways, let him talk.
And any other documents forming part of the agreement. Now, those of you with keen eyes can tell already that there are some minor spelling mistakes and grammatical errors within this document, but I have a feeling this may be just a result of either poor translation or someone who received the leak of this translated that themselves, and there may be some oddities there. It's hard to say for certain. Sections A, B, and C in the latter portion of this document seem to be pretty boilerplate. The content creator agrees to promote the game, participate in marketing campaigns, creating videos, etc. All standard things you would expect from a contract. Alright, so now we're going to start talking about the juicy bits of the contract.
Okay,
Section
take us
E.
there.
Alright, so
Yeah, this
let
is
it
where
be
I was
known,
like,
and
what
I
the
just want
hell?
to make this very, very, very clear. I am in no way a lawyer, I have never been a lawyer, and I have never studied law. But as someone who has worked with contracts from my real life work experience and worked with content creation before with contracts, I will attempt to offer my interpretation. Section E of the contract is outright requiring the creator who received this contract to promptly notify Yomiholic if any other gaming brand intends to sponsor their content. This statement has two major implications behind.
Yeah, so like I was talking about that earlier with this one, was basically this is basically saying that like they don't want you to either A, work with any of their competitors, or B, they just want you to not work with anyone. Right? Because this is giving them the full authority for them to pick and choose who you can be sponsored by. Right? Because they're saying, yeah, you have to ask Daddy Hoyoverse first before you can let anyone else sponsor you. Right? So that gives them the complete authority to pick who you're going to get sponsored by. So that means they probably don't want you to work with any other gotcha game, right? With any of their competitors, or even any other game to begin with, right? Or they want like full and complete authority of who you can be sponsored by, and that is a very, 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 very bad thing, because now you are in no control. You are no longer in control of your money flow or your cash flow, because that is complete ownership of opportunities that could have been given to you, and you're no longer in control of those opportunities, and that is a very bad thing as a content creator. Like that is a horrid thing.
Behind it. Alright, so firstly, any gaming, which can be extremely loosely interpreted, most companies have some sort of tie to the gaming industry nowadays. Is Razer a gaming company? What about Logitech? Hell, even what about GamerSupps? A good lawyer could argue in court that these are gaming companies. They offer a sponsorship to the creator, and they need to be reported. So does this mean that any creator needs to report if they intend to or have already signed a contract? Or are they requiring any offer of sponsorship to be reported? To me, it sounds like the latter, which I think is absolutely insane. How in the
That is
world can a
wild to
company
me.
worth their marbles suggest that a simple offer of a sponsorship need to be reported to them? Even if we went with the former interpretation, the next line clearly states that Yomiholic outright has full discretion to reject sponsorships that could be detrimental to Zenless Zone Zero. The key word to this insane statement is detrimental.
Detrimental. Yeah, I figured
The verbiage
detrimental.
used here is vague on.
Because what does detrimental mean? Like, what does it mean by detriment? Is because like what? Like, is it the company's in some kind of scandal, or is it like the company, like the sponsor that they're like the creator is requesting for? Maybe they're don't hold the same values. Maybe they're not the same brand. Like, what does detrimental mean? Like, are they a competitor? Is that what it is? Like, what does detrimental mean? Detrimental could be fucking anything and is up for interpretation. That is completely defined by a Hoyoverse. They in this contract they define what detrimental means, and that's a very like a vague thing. That's a very like up in the air thing. That's not good for you.
Purpose, as it opens up the definition of what could be considered breach of contract, in which Yomiholic could go after the content creator for breach of contract, generally resulting in monetary damages. I've heard through the grapevine that large companies such as MiHoYo have clauses in their contract that content creators who breach contracts can receive fines of upwards of $500,000.
Jesus Christ.
This is just conjecture, and I obviously have no proof to back it up. Take it with a grain of salt, but honestly, I would not be surprised in the slightest.
Yeah, I would honestly, this whole leak, I would honestly take it as a grain of salt. Maybe there are a lot of other maybe there are a lot of other content creators in space that can confirm this. Like they say, oh, I've been sent this to, I complete, like maybe there are. I haven't really looked into that much. This video has just been showing up everywhere, and maybe they can like confirm this. But me personally, I don't see. Okay, there are two reasons why like I generally like it confuses me why they would do this. One, I generally don't believe Zenless Zone Zero should be worried about Wuthering Waves. One, because they're not a direct competitor to Zenless Zone Zero, right? Now they are released. Now, don't get me wrong. I feel like a lot of people are going to be playing Wuthering Waves more than Zenless Zone Zero, but at the same time, right? Wuthering Waves is not. Wuthering Waves is not trying to compete with Zenless Zone Zero. That's the weird thing. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I feel like Wuthering Waves is just trying to compete with Genshin. Maybe I'm 100% wrong on that. I could be 100% wrong on that. But I feel like Wuthering Waves is not competing for Zenless Zone Zero. Competing with Zenless Zone Zero. That, and two, Hoyoverse is such a massive name that I feel like this kind of contract is just completely like it doesn't benefit them to have this type of contract, because Hoyoverse is such a massive name. To make this kind of contract, it puts them in such a bad spot PR wise that the leak of this contract will do more damage to them than Wuthering Waves. That's what I feel like. The leak of this contract will do more damage and affect Hoyoverse more than Wuthering Waves itself. That's what I generally feel like, because now that this has been leaked, and if this is true, now people are gonna come with an antagonistic mindset of Zenless Zone Zero, like completely now. Like the people who are open to playing Zenless Zone Zero, if this is true, now this has been leaked, people are probably not even gonna play the game now because of this, and now the people who are gonna give the game a try are gonna come with an antagonistic and negative mindset because of this. Right, and that is what's going to affect them more than anything Wuthering Waves can do. Right, that's just my thought process. So I feel like this contract, if it's real, Hoyoverse really they're really fucking stupid with this one. I really think they fucked up with this one.
The verbiage detrimental could be argued that the creator simply working with another game company, or even a company that is loosely related to gaming, could be applied. One could even argue that providing sponsored content from a game even outside of Zenless Zone Zero's genre could take the spotlight off of just Zenless Zone Zero. This would be considered a breach of contract. Alright, so let's think about this critically for a second. Zenless Zone Zero has a rumored release date of July 3rd. What if a creator has a sponsor or wants to take a sponsor from Square Enix for the release of Final Fantasy XIV's expansion Dawntrail, which comes out on July 2nd. This creator doing the sponsor could take the spotlight over ZZZ and could be potentially stealing someone away from their game, which would 100% fall as detrimental. Detrimental could even be argued if the creator accepts a sponsorship from Logitech, who regularly sponsors esports events for games like Dota, Valorant, and Counter-Strike.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Like detrimental,
the creator from
like
working with a peripheral company.
The meaning detrimental is 100% in the hands of Hoyoverse if this is true, because they're the ones that define what detrimental is, not the creator. They define what detrimental is. This is why it's like it gives them so much power as to like what happens in this contract, and that's a very bad thing.
Just because their logo is on other games, I could see this being considered a breach of contract. What about gamer subs? They're partnered with someone that MiHoYo outright hates and has blacklisted, the Baldermort Tectone. Would a creator lose out on the sponsor because they are directly affiliated with someone that regularly...
Why the fuck do you have to use that picture? Oh my god.
...critiques their company? I mean, hell, even me posting this video is going to kill potential collaborations with creators that take contracts like this. There's obviously hundreds, if not even thousands of other implications surrounding this line in the contract. Alright, so let's play devil's advocate for a second and say those hypothetical situations wouldn't happen. Depending on the length of the contract, you could be stuck and miss career-changing opportunities from other companies if Yomiholic decided to deny them. The amount of power they would have over this creator is astronomical and could flat out be a career ending move for anyone roped into this. While I tend to give the benefit
Yeah, I would actually suggest you never. Okay, he's about to say give the benefit of the doubt. I would, when it comes to legal documents, never give the benefit of the doubt. Never give the benefit of the doubt. When it comes to legal documentation and legally binding documentation, you never give the benefit of the doubt. You always look what it will work for you in your best interest, right? Obviously, there's going to be some give and take because the company has to benefit from this contract as well. But you never give them the benefit of the doubt. You take everything in writing. You look at it, you read through the lines, you read in between the lines, and you find out and you look and you question everything. You never give the benefit of the doubt because it's not just what the contract says, it's how it says it that can change the meaning of the contract. How the words are written on that paper, it's not just the words. How the words are written on that contract can drastically affect the power of that contract and what it has over you. You never give the benefit of the doubt. Always take everything in writing, read the lines and read in between the lines. Never take anything, never go give a benefit of the doubt.
of a doubt for things. We're talking about an ad agency and their parent company MiHoYo, who is absolutely ruthless. They will protect their brand no matter what. I mean, hell, if the show Mad Men taught us anything about ad agencies, it's that ad agencies are the absolute devil and are not to be trusted. While I understand wanting to protect brand integrity and avoid conflicts of interest with creators, there's a balance between protecting your brand and just fostering collaboration with the creators that you're working with. Alright, so I know I've name dropped MiHoYo a few times during this conversation, despite the ad agency being a different entity, but for the slow ones, companies approaching ad agencies generally will set the terms and conditions of the contracts that are offered and has the final say on how the contracts are read. The ad agency is simply the one in charge of the paperwork, record keeping, and communication with the content creator. MiHoYo would have had to either directly sign off on the contract or flat out told them this clause needs to be in it.
Yeah, this is like, okay, yeah, the point he's trying to make, yeah, I get what he's trying to make. He's making a very valid point because the ad agency, holy fuck, I can't English. The ad agency is the one responsible for all the documentation and all the shit, right? But is Hoyoverse's name still on that contract? So they're the ones that still hold all the power. It's like the same situation as like the VAs, right? The English voice actors don't go directly to Hoyoverse to record their lines. They go through an agency where the agency then that is with an agency that is working with Hoyoverse to get all the lines of shit scripted and all the lines in, right? So the VAs go through the agency, which is Hoyoverse then signs off on everything through that agency, right? It's the same thing. So it's like even though it's not directly Hoyoverse, even though this contract is not directly like related to Hoyoverse, it's with Yomiholic. Hoyoverse is still the parent company. They're the ones signing all the documents. They're the ones that have to subsidize any breach of contract on their end if they fuck up, right? It's still they're the ones that are still taking the brunt because it is their name and they're the ones that are signing off on this legally binding contract. So it's like it's still Hoyoverse. It's still, even if it says Yomiholic, it's still Hoyoverse.
Alright, so how is MiHoYo scared? From someone who has worked in the business, this contract stipulation is not normal. Companies will generally not restrict the creators from covering other games or companies. The only usual stipulation is that you need to show the game in a positive light. And by the game, I mean the game that you are doing the sponsorship for, not other sponsors. And why specifically for ZZZ? The overall reception of ZZZ has been absolutely abysmal since the last beta test, and the hype surrounding the game seems to have vanished. MiHoYo's direct competitor, Kuro Games, is releasing Wuthering Waves this month on May 22nd. I truly believe that this is MiHoYo's attempt on nabbing up as many content creators in the space and refusing them the ability to talk about their competitor's game because they...
That's also a fair argument. I actually did not know that ZZZ was actually like that, like the hype for ZZ died down that much. I will say this. As much shit as we give to Kuro Games for their bad marketing scheme when it came to punishing Grey Raven, and like still a little bit Wuthering Waves, they're doing better with Wuthering Waves. But as much shit as we give to Kuro Games for like how bad their marketing is, I feel like Zenless Zone Zero is a lot worse. I have not seen anything for Zenless Zone Zero. Maybe I'm wrong, but me personally, I have not seen a single ad, not a single content creator talking about it, or like I haven't seen really anything about Zenless Zone Zero since like the CBT one, not even CBT two, CBT one. I haven't heard anything from about Zenless Zone since CBT one, and it's like, and now that and I remember after CBT two happened, right? Um, I didn't look into it that much, but I did hear that the hype for the game did like go down drastically, and like people weren't that excited for the game anymore. So now that I've taken that into account, yeah, I can see why MiHoYo would be scared of Zenless Zone Zero, because let's keep it real. Hoyoverse is not like, I think Honkai Star Rail is really the only game that Hoyoverse has made that has like really, that's like it's really looked at as like in a positive light in comparison to other ones like Genshin, like, let's be real. The only people who like truly love Genshin and play it every day are the people who sit there and say, you know, guys, Nihida's 500 years old. It's only those people that sit there and play Genshin all the time, right? And like, same thing with was it Reverse 1999? Never even heard of that game. Or well, like it was like a boy love game. I don't remember. And then there was Honkai Impact Third, where once again there was a toxic community where, like, kind of like we did with Robin, where everybody just had it in their head that all the characters were lesbian and you couldn't like them if you were straight. And it's like Honkai Star was really like the only Hoyoverse game, at least as much as I know, that has a very positive community and has a positive outlook on the game from and with how well they're treating the game. Every other game that Hoyoverse made, there's always some kind of controversy around it. It's actually kind of wild. So it's like, now that taking all that into consideration, okay, I can kind of see how this could be real and how like Hoyoverse is probably shitting their pants with Wuthering Waves coming out.
They legitimately fear that Wuthering Waves is going to be a massive success and has the long-term potential.
It depends on their definition of massive success. It will be 100% a success. There's so many people waiting for this game and are so hyped for this game. Even me myself. He said he was gonna do a 24-hour stream. Bro, I booked off like 3 days from my real life job to fucking stream Wuthering Waves. I don't know if I'm gonna do a 24-hour stream. Like, bro, he's gotta sleep. But I'm definitely gonna do like maybe probably like 2 10-hour streams. Probably like 100%. Like, I'm gonna be playing the fuck out of Wuthering Waves.
Potential to overshadow their games. Alright, so let me put my tinfoil hat on real quick. I legitimately believe MiHoYo sees Kuro Games and Wuthering Waves as a massive blow to their grip on the gacha game community. If Kuro was able to knock it out of the park with the release of their game, and keeps in communication with the community and listens to our feedback, this could outright steal a significant portion of Genshin and Star Rail's community for who the hell knows how long.
Nah, I disagree with that. Because here's the thing. At the end of the day, it's a gotcha game, right? And the way gotcha games are played, you play it for a significant amount of time, and then you go play something else. That's how gotcha games work, right? Now, I do agree that Wuthering Waves will steal a lot of like Genshin and Honkai Star's like player base. But here's the thing: they're gonna play it at the same time. They're either gonna stop playing it for a little bit and then eventually come back, or they're just gonna play it at the same time. Because the way gotcha games work is, after you've blown through all the content, you play it for 10 minutes every day, and then you just switch between all of them. That's how gotcha games work. So I don't believe that they're just gonna outright take the player base and they're never gonna play Genshin or Honkai Star Rail again. Because you have to remember, the Genshin and Honkai Star Rail community, they are fucking dedicated, especially the Genshin community. They are fucking dedicated to this fucking game. So I don't believe that Hoyoverse is gonna. They're definitely gonna steal a chunk of the community, but that chunk, majority of that chunk, is just gonna come back. That's just my opinion. That's what I feel like was gonna happen. Majority of that chunk that Kuro Games is gonna steal from Genshin and Honkai, they're just gonna come back to Genshin and Honkai eventually. They will. That's just how it is. That's what I believe is gonna happen.
This could be MiHoYo's last-ditch effort to stem the bleeding before it turns into a full-blown wound. At the end of the day, the simple fact that a company would be allowed to tell you who you can and can't work with, and deny any potential sponsorships offered to you, almost sounds borderline illegal. Obviously, we're dealing with a company that's overseas, but this comes on the heels of the FTC announcing a rule on banning non-compete clauses back in April. I'm unsure if something like this applies to contracts, especially for a marketing company that's out of the country.
That 100% will apply to contracts. I honestly think that was the point. I actually think that was like the biggest point for that bylaw. I actually think that was for contracts, because contracts, if worded right, can give so much power to the one of the parties to like, especially like so like if one of the parties stipulates in the contract that like, hey, we you shall note, like, even this contract, let's just use this contract because I don't really deal with a lot of contracts, but let's just deal with this contract right here, where you will notify us for any sponsorship that could be detrimental to Zenless Zone Zero. That gives so much power to the Hoyoverse party, because they define they define what is the determining factor for the contract, which is the word detrimental. They define that word in every case for the stipulation of that contract. So that is why, like, it's not just the words, it's how the words are put on the paper. So so the FTC doing that shit, that I feel like that was majorly because of contracts and people getting screwed over by contracts, right? I feel like that was the biggest thing, because contractual workers, they really usually just look at especially if they don't have a lawyer, they just look at the amount of money they're getting and just like, oh, okay, that's good, and I don't have to work that much, cool, they'll sign it. And then on the fine print, they're like, oh, 50% of this amount of money that we're going to give you, yeah, we're going to take that back for taxes or some shit. Like, it's always crazy with contracts.
But I figured I'd bring it up. This is absolutely despicable behavior and makes me lose any positive will I've had towards MiHoYo. Alright, so what do you guys think? Do you think this is a hoax? Do you think it's all fake? Do you think I'm full of shit? Let me know down in the comments below. And please consider liking and subscribing before MiHoYo sends assassins to take me out. And I'll see you guys in the next one.
All right, that was a really good video. That was a really good video. I like that shit. That was a really good video. Do I believe this is real? Based on the past and how Hoyoverse has done things in the past, I'm inclined to believe it could be real. Right? I'm inclined to be it could be real, but because the leak is so untrustworthy, and because the basis of that leak and like how the contract is worded, how it is, and like the purpose of the contract, that leads me to believe that it's not real. But at the same time, I feel like I've seen this has been confirmed by a lot of people. I think Tectone himself confirmed that this is probably real, because, well, he's blacklisted, but like I think like other creators have told him that, like, yeah, I've gotten this contract. So it's like, I feel like, yeah, it's looking like this is real. That's my point. It looks like this is real. But if this is real, I feel like, I said it before, if this is real, I feel like this will do more damage to Zenless Zone Zero, way more than Wuthering Waves. Way more. Because now all the people who are willing to give Wuthering Waves a chance, or not Wuthering Waves, Zenless Zone Zero a chance, despite all the bullshit that happened with like the CBT2, now they see this and they're like, fuck that, I'm not gonna play Zenless Zone Zero. Like, I feel like that's what's gonna happen. Like, this did more damage to Zenless Zone Zero than Wuthering Waves probably did. That's just my opinion though.